This vast territory spans over 22 million acres, making it twice the size of Switzerland. In this exploration, we delve into the life of the Moxie-Hatetima tribe, a secluded indigenous group residing deep within the Brazilian Amazon. They are one of 3 Yanomami subgroups inhabiting a dense, mountainous rainforest reserve in northern Brazil and southern Venezuela. This tribe has remained highly resistant to any form of contact with outsiders. Due to their isolation, they are primarily monitored from the air. Imagine living in complete seclusion, surrounded only by the vast wilderness of the jungle. Today, we take a closer look at the lives of these people. Stay with us to learn more. 1. A remarkable rediscovery. The Moxie-Hatetima were rediscovered in 2011 when an aircraft flying over the Amazon captured rare images of them. Not only do they avoid contact with the outside world, but they also distance themselves from other indigenous groups that share the same territory. 2. A small but isolated community. It is estimated that the tribe consists of roughly 100 individuals who have deliberately chosen to separate themselves from both modern civilization and neighboring indigenous communities. Their settlement is located in the remote northern regions of Brazil, near the Venezuelan border. 3. Isolation as a shield against disease. Their extreme isolation has served as a natural defense, protecting them from diseases like malaria, which have devastated many indigenous populations. Their settlements are well hidden within the thick jungle canopy, making them difficult to detect from the air. 4. Preserving their way of life. While the tribe is not considered hostile, experts strongly advise against initiating contact. Any interaction with outsiders could expose them to deadly diseases for which they have no immunity. 5. A threatened homeland. Although the Moxie-Hatetima live in an area protected by the Brazilian government, their territory is under constant threat. According to Survival International, an indigenous rights organization, more than 5,000 illegal miners have invaded the region, endangering both the land and its people. 6. Rare glimpses into their world. Only a few images of the tribe exist, most of which show the rooftops of their communal homes. Researchers decided to release these photographs to raise awareness about the growing dangers posed by illegal mining operations. 7. A unique living structure. The tribe organizes itself around a communal, circular structure known as a maloca. Aerial photographs taken in 2016 revealed the construction of 2 additional thatched roof dwellings, suggesting that the community had expanded. 8. Family life in the maloca. Within the maloca, multiple families live together in designated sections. Each household occupies a square space where they hang hammocks, store food, and light fires for cooking and warmth. 9. Violent clashes with outsiders. Over the years, there have been violent encounters between the Yanomami people and illegal miners. 10. A critical role in environmental conservation. The preservation of indigenous territories like this one has gained global significance. Studies have shown that protecting these lands helps reduce deforestation-related carbon emissions, making their conservation a vital tool in the fight against climate change. 11. A life free of modern goods. The Moxie-Hatetima have no industrial tools or manufactured goods. Unlike some other indigenous groups, they do not use aluminum pots, machetes, or textiles. Observations suggest that they rely entirely on traditional materials from the forest. 12. The most isolated among the Yanomami. While approximately 22,000 Yanomami live on the outskirts of the Brazilian reserve, the Moxie-Hatetima are the most secluded. At least 3 Yanomami subgroups continue to live in total isolation from modern civilization. 13. Government recognition and protection. In 1992, just months before the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, the Brazilian government officially established the Yanomami Indigenous Territory. 14. A history of survival. Before the reserve was created, the Yanomami faced extreme threats from violent invaders and deadly diseases like influenza and measles. Government intervention, including conservation funding, helped the indigenous population recover. 15. The devastating impact of mining. Illegal mining activities have contaminated the region's once pristine rivers with mercury, a toxic substance used to extract gold from sediments. This contamination accumulates in fish, endangering both the ecosystem and the indigenous communities that rely on these waters. 16. The spread of deadly diseases. Beyond environmental destruction, illegal miners have introduced diseases such as malaria and measles to the region. This growing concern has prompted numerous organizations to call for stricter protections for the indigenous population. 17. A defiant encounter with the outside world. During a surveillance flight, the Moxihatatima were spotted waving their spears at the aircraft, an act of defiance and resistance. This reaction mirrored a similar response from another isolated tribe in the region a few years earlier, further emphasizing their determination to remain undisturbed. 18. A remnant of a once larger community. All evidence suggests that the Moxihatatima are descendants of a much larger group of Yanomami-speaking peoples. Since at least 1920, their ancestors are believed to have inhabited the Mukajai-Katramani region, navigating the dense rainforest entirely on foot. 19. A land surrounded by threats. The Mukajai-Katramani region is located near the headwaters of the API River, an area increasingly encircled by illegal mines. With mining operations expanding in nearly every direction, the Moxihatatima face an ever-growing danger to their way of life. 20. First recorded accounts of the region. The first documented records of this region date back to 1932, at which time the Yanomami population was much larger. Some members of this group made brief contact with early explorers, though the majority remained isolated. 21. A history of migration and conflict. According to oral accounts from the Yanomami, the 1920s were marked by intergroup conflicts that led to significant migrations. Some clans moved towards river regions, with certain groups relocating from the Urari region to the Ajarani River basin. 22. Devastating epidemics and the invasion of their lands. The Yanomami's history of contact with outsiders has often been disastrous. A measles epidemic in 1968 decimated parts of their population. Then, in 1973, the opening of a section of the Northern Perimeter Highway further disrupted their territory, bringing new waves of disease and exploitation. 23. A complex cultural heritage. The Yanomami are made up of at least 6 distinct subgroups, each speaking a language from the Yanomami linguistic family. These languages include Yanoma, Yanomam, Yaroami, Sanuma, Ninam, and Yoma. 24. An intimate knowledge of the rainforest. The Yanomami possess extensive knowledge of botany, utilizing around 500 different plant species. These plants serve various purposes, from food and medicine to building materials for their homes and structures. 25. A life rooted in nature. Their way of life revolves around hunting, gathering, and fishing. In addition to foraging in the rainforest, they cultivate cassava and bananas in large, open fields that lie outside the dense jungle canopy. 26. The role of shamans in their society. Shamans serve as spiritual leaders within the community. They use a hallucinogenic plant called yakoana, inhaling its smoke to enter trance-like states, which they believe allow them to communicate with the spirit world. 27. The meaning behind their name. The name, Moxihatatima, derives from a distinctive cultural practice among the men of the tribe. They tie their foreskin with 2 strings, called hitate, securing them around their waists. This differs from their Yanomami neighbors, who use a simple cotton thread for the same purpose. 28. Forced to flee their homeland. Due to the aggressive expansion of gold mining operations, the Moxihatatima were forced to abandon the land they had occupied for generations. Seeking safety, they migrated northeast, deeper into the rainforest. 29. The devastation of the gold rush. Between 1987 and 1990, it is estimated that over 100,000 gold miners flooded into Yanomami territory. More than 300 heavy machines were in operation daily, with around 500 aircraft flying over the region, disrupting the once pristine environment. 30. Rumors of their extinction. By 1990, reports surfaced suggesting that the Moxihatatima had been wiped out. Conflicts with miners and the spread of disease fueled speculation that the tribe had completely vanished. Many feared they had succumbed to violence or illnesses contracted from contact with outsiders. 31. Rediscovered after years in hiding. For years, the Moxihatetima remained forgotten, their fate unknown. Then, in 2011, a reconnaissance flight conducted by FUNAI, the Brazilian government's Indigenous Affairs Agency, confirmed their existence, proving that the tribe had survived despite the immense challenges they had faced. 32. A weakening of government protections. In recent years, government funding for indigenous land protection has been significantly reduced. As a result, protection bases in the territory were temporarily shut down. Taking advantage of this, illegal gold miners occupied these bases, using them as logistical hubs to expand their operations. 33. Efforts to restore protection. In 2019, the Brazilian government announced plans to restore the protection bases in Yanomami territory. FUNAI resumed monitoring key regions, including the Mucujai tributary, and worked on reinforcing the demarcation of indigenous lands. 34. The Moxihatetima's unique housing structures. The tribe constructs their homes in an elliptical shape, a style distinct from other Yanomami groups. Their settlement is located near a vast open field of approximately 49 acres, which is primarily used for banana cultivation. 35. A unique architectural style. The Moxihatetima's style of architecture developed during their early encounters with outsiders, between the 1950s and 1970s. Unlike other Yanomami subgroups, their homes feature multiple juxtaposed sloping roofs, a distinctive trait that sets them apart. 36. A rejection of outsider tools. When first offered metal tools such as machetes, axes, and knives, the Moxihatetima refused to accept them, preferring to rely on their traditional handmade weapons and tools. 37. A small, isolated community. Photographic analysis of their settlements, particularly the structure of their homes, suggests that the Moxihatetima population does not exceed 100 individuals. Due to their extreme isolation, they are often referred to as the isolated people of Serra da Estrutura. 38. Traditional tool-making. The Moxihatetima continue to use stone axes and other traditional tools for cutting down trees and constructing their homes. Even when coming across metal tools like wooden-handled machetes, they have chosen to abandon them rather than integrate them into their way of life. 39. A violent confrontation with miners. In November 2021, an indigenous individual from the Iao region reported the killing of 2 Moxihatetima tribe members in an attack carried out by illegal gold miners. The conflict erupted when Moxihatetima warriors attempted to drive the intruders out of their territory. 40. A deadly clash. During the confrontation, 3 miners were wounded by arrows fired by the tribe. In retaliation, the miners used firearms, fatally shooting 2 indigenous warriors. 41. A witness to history. One of the arrows shot by a Moxihatetima warrior was later recovered by a young indigenous person from the upper Mucujai region who had witnessed the attack. The arrow is currently kept in a community in the API region. 42. Satellite evidence of destruction. Satellite imagery has revealed that over 100 hectares of the Moxihatetima's territory have already been destroyed due to illegal mining and deforestation. 43. Ongoing attacks on the tribe. Since 2019, reports have emerged of Moxihatetima tribe members being shot at with rifles as they attempted to defend their fields using traditional bows and arrows against the encroaching gold miners. 44. A devastating loss. In recent years, at least 4 documented murders of Moxihatetima people have occurred, representing a staggering 5% of their entire population. Given the Yanomami justice system's emphasis on retaliation, experts fear that further conflicts between the tribe and miners may arise. 45. The Dalai Lama of the Forest. Davi Kopanawa, a Yanomami shaman and activist, has become one of the leading voices advocating for the rights of indigenous peoples. As the president of the Yanomami Hutukara Association, he has been instrumental in the fight to protect the rainforest. His dedication has earned him the nickname, Dalai Lama of the Forest. 46. The Guardians of the Amazon. Experts stress the critical importance of preserving the Moxie-Hatetema and other isolated indigenous communities. Their deep ecological knowledge and sustainable way of life make them natural guardians of the Amazon rainforest, playing a vital role in preventing deforestation. 47. A contemporary culture, not a relic. Researcher Francesca Filo argues against the common misconception that tribes like the Moxie-Hatetema are primitive or remnants of an ancient past. Instead, she asserts that they are contemporary societies with a different but equally valid way of life. 48. A complex and self-sufficient society. The director of the Survival International Organization has highlighted that isolated tribes are not in need of external progress or development. Instead, they have complex, functioning societies that are perfectly capable of thriving without outside interference. 49. The best way to help: leave them alone. All specialists agree that the most effective way to protect the Moxie-Hatetema is to respect their isolation and safeguard their lands. When left undisturbed, they have demonstrated their ability to sustain themselves independently. 50. A disappearing tribe, a dying rainforest. If tribes like the Moxie-Hatetema are wiped out, the consequences could be disastrous not only for their culture but also for the Amazon itself. Their disappearance would leave the rainforest vulnerable to unchecked deforestation, illegal logging, and gold mining, threatening the survival of one of the world's most important ecosystems. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos too.